So, Carl, it's been said, going back to the 2017 elections, ANC elections, when Ramaphosa became president of the party and Mabuza became deputy president of the party. Now, Mabuza, prior to that, had been reported to be part of the Premier League. He was close to Mahashule and was it the other gentleman from the Northwest and Zuma. The three of them were aligned, were seen, at least reported to be aligned together. And suddenly this man appears on the Ramaphosa side. And it was also reported soon after those elections that Ramaphosa won because of Mabuza. Mabuza gave him the votes that could have gone to Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. I've never seen the RET faction angry at Mabuza. How come? Why? I mean, if this guy betrayed you in the last minute, not even a peep. Nobody have ever said we're gonna get you. You stole our vote and gave it to Ramaphosa. Is there a deal between? Is it a sleeper for the RET faction in the current administration? Are you guys? Is there like a deal between you guys and Mabuza? What's going on there? Why are you not angry at him?
Sorry, one of my friends said to me, I doubt whether you, meaning me, are really a politician because you are too honest.
Right.
So my answer to you is going to be, I hope that Comrade Didi Mabuza can sleep at night. I hope he can live with himself. Because my view is that he betrayed us. And I've said so before, so if you haven't heard that view from me, perhaps you didn't hear me speaking out loud enough, because I did. Now, perhaps he can still vindicate himself in the upcoming conference, because he's got a lot of wrong to make right. He's got a lot of wrong to make right. Part of the consequences of what we are faced with today and the betrayal of the ANC lies at his doorstep because of what he did at the 54th National Conference of the ANC in the last hours when that election took place. So there's my straight answer. It's perhaps not very political, but I hope it's honest.
So do you see him as a potential future president of South Africa? And if yes, because usually in the tradition, at least the practice of the African National Congress, the deputy becomes president. Up to now, the deputy becomes president. He's the deputy. He's lying low. He's not making a lot of noise. He doesn't make too many controversial statements. And your people, apart from what you just said, and when I say your people, I mean the RET side of the Zuma aligned part of the African National Congress, has not really made a lot of noise against him. So is he like going to be the guy who's going to say, okay, guys, come on, we're all brothers and sisters, let's work together. I'm the next guy here, I'll work for you. And will you believe him if he says that? Will you support him to be able to be there?
My answer is the following. Let the people in the African National Congress, the members in the branches decide. In the process of them deciding, let them remember what Comrade Didi Mabuza did at the 54th National Conference.
Okay, so
if they calculate that in, we will see. I'm leaving it up to them to decide how that history should impact on their decision.
Okay, whom would you support to replace Ramaphosa?
I'm not going to give you a name, not because I'm trying to wriggle myself out of a difficult question, but because I would be not proper in terms of my own understanding and belief about how the democratic processes in the ANC has to function.
Right.
The ANC leaders will obviously consider their own positions, but ultimately they will have to consider the decisions of the branches of the ANC and those delegates who get sent by the branches to the conference. So at this stage, it will be for me entirely wrong and unprocedural to try and give you a name of who I think should emerge. But what I can say, sorry, is it should not be Cyril Ramaphosa.
Okay.
He is not going to serve the interests of the African National Congress as a liberation movement. And to come back to your question, that multiple answer question that you gave me earlier, because he will not serve the ANC, he will not serve the country. And the country will be a failed nation under a continuation of a presidency by Cyril Ramaphosa.
Okay, thank you. My last question to you is, do you feel misunderstood either by the ANC or your old comrades? That's part one of it. Part two of it is there anything that you would have wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you?
Yes, I do feel sometimes misunderstood.
Mhm.
Because I think there are people who try to say that I've changed, who say that the Carl who was part of the African National Congress in the 1990s and who was spokesperson of President Nelson Mandela and of the African National Congress is not the Carl of today.
Mm.
That is not true. I think the people misunderstood who I was then if they have a problem with who I am now, because I'm exactly still the same person. I am still committed to the same ideals. I did not join the African National Congress in June 1979 on a little hill outside Gaborone to see a continuation of white monopoly capitalism and the continuing exploitation of the majority of Black and especially African people.
Right.
I didn't join the ANC for that. I didn't join the ANC for South Africa to be the most unequal society in the world. So that is what I want people to understand. Mm-hmm. So I am still the same person. And if I'm misunderstood that I'm not, then I would like to get that misconception to be understood and to be corrected. The question that I wanted you to ask is, why did the Ngenge Nguni Council decide to rename and call me Mpangazita? You didn't ask me that question.
I didn't know. When did that happen, Carl?
About 2-3 weeks ago, the Ngenge Council said, we want to honor you for your long-standing commitment to the liberation struggle. Mm-hmm. We want to name you after what has been many of the warriors and warrior kings of the Nguni people. Mm-hmm. What they've been called Mpangazita. Okay. Now, Mpangazita has got many different nuances of translation, but amongst it is planner, but also he who eats his enemy.
What, Carl? You eat your enemies?
Well, one thing I can assure you is I never cower. I do not run away. I state my case. I will continue to fight. So if you ask me why I'm called that name, because I will not sell out. I will continue to fight.
Do you think the South African, and this is my really final question, do you think the South African Reserve Bank should be nationalized? And if so, to what benefit?
Absolutely. And you know, it's not even a radical thing to nationalize the South African Reserve Bank, sorry, because the Reserve Bank in the United States of America, the central bank in the United Kingdom, in Canada, all of those banks are nationalized. It is an anomaly that we have in South Africa that there are private shareholders who are able to be shareholders and who are able to have a say in the South African Reserve Bank. It is part of our national pride. It is important that the Reserve Bank should be in full control of our government and of our state. And anyhow, while we're talking about it, the Reserve Bank should not just be an inflation targeting tool. It should also be a tool for growth. It should be a tool for economic development. And that is part of the reason why there are those who are currently still private owners of shares in the Reserve Bank who want to hold on to it because they want to prevent the Reserve Bank from being turned into a tool of true economic development and empowerment in South Africa. So yes, it must be nationalized. They must listen also to what the Prime Minister of Canada said When the Reserve Bank in Canada was nationalized, he said, without the nationalization of the Reserve Bank, how can we have pride in ourselves as a nation? I ask the same question of South Africa.